Hello, and welcome back to the Celestial Garden Show. I'm your host, Shanice, and if you are new here, welcome. So, I'm really excited because we are entering eclipse, or we are actually in eclipse season. And this eclipse season, in my opinion, um, is really shifting the powers. And I say what I mean by like shifting the powers is I think that we are about to see a shift in what we deem as popular in society, such as like celebrity culture, even like the appearance of the BBLs and all that kind of stuff. Not trying to knock anybody who have that or who likes to wear their weaves and all that kind of stuff. But I think we are getting to a time where people are searching for themselves. Like trying to build a relationship within themselves, or we are headed into that time because I don't know if y'all noticed, but everybody's single. And if you're not single, you probably feel like you are because there are a lot of videos that I've been seeing, not just on TikTok, but Instagram and Facebook, and even statuses from like all social media platforms and videos where it's this gender war. And honestly, I think it's so funny because I think that most women, I can only speak for women because I'm a woman and I've only been a woman. But I think for most women, we just want someone to we can feel safe with. Like we can truly feel safe, we can feel secure within ourselves, like we can truly be ourselves, we can show our ugly sides and just be authentic. And I think that so many guys get caught up in this trophy cookie cutter porno star like idea of what a wife or a life partner is supposed to be. And I don't think they appreciate how hard, like, as women, we work because it's hard being a woman, and women don't just say that just to be saying it. Like, it really is difficult. Just not even like, I'm not even talking about society, like us living in society, our day to day lives. I'm talking like biologically every day. We only get like one good week out of the month where we actually feel like ourselves. And that's usually like the week that we are ovulating and like, like we feel good. I don't know. Look into like if you are a guy, look into it. But biologically, like y'all are wired differently. Yes, we are all human, but you are man and we are woman. So y'all need to figure it out. I saw a video of a guy saying that basically women should settle because the options are slim in so many words. That's not what he said verbatim, but that's how I took it. And so I saw a few people stitch like women are really waking up, and I'm so happy. Like we are starting to like see our worth and value ourselves and value each other. Minus some stuff I've been seeing on TikTok, but I'm gonna get to that. But I lost my train of thought. Oh my god. Oh, I've seen women stitch the guy and was basically like, y'all really don't get it. We would rather be alone. And like I have five brothers. And I would tell them all the time, like when we would have these conversations about relationships and like gender and shit, like I would tell them we can go a long time without sex. Like women can really we can do things that y'all think we can't, that y'all can't sustain from doing. Sustain, is it sustain, abstain? Whatever, you know what I'm trying to say. But like women are we are wired biologically, we are wired differently. And I'm going on a bit of a tangent, but like I say all of this to say the eclipses are talking to not only Venus but Mars. Or I'm sorry, I take that back. on the days of the eclipses, or like leading up to both the Libra eclipse that's happening Monday and the eclipse that's happening on Tuesday. What am I talking about? Tuesday, April the 8th. The total solar eclipse in Aries. Venus will form a conjunction with Saturn like days before the eclipse in Libra, and then Mars will form a conjunction with Saturn days, I think, leading up to the Aries eclipse. And so Mars, men are from Mars, women are from Venus, like what we've been seeing, the gender wars. And something that I'm starting to realize too is women, I'm gonna kind of drag us a little bit. We are not perfect. Okay, like y'all are dense. I'm gonna be really, really honest. A lot of y'all are not tapped into your intuition, and it could be the birth control. And that might sound harsh to some, but a lot of y'all are really shallow. Um, and I'm just being honest. As a woman who I feel like I'm really feminine and intuitive, I can be a little bit too intense. If I do say so myself, and I'm pretty sure the people around me would say the same. But I noticed in friendships, like female friendships, and this is just my perception, this is just me and my experiences and living life. But a lot of y'all do not know how to build genuine relationships. A lot of the relationships that I have with some women that I've met in my life have felt fake. And it's because I'm not sure. I don't know the answer to that. But men can tell, you also can tell, we all can tell, because I've actually been told a few times that I'm too intense from women when I'm like building friendships and relationships. A lot of y'all, this is why sometimes you go on trips and you fall out. It's because y'all are building friendships from a shallow foundation. And there's sometimes you guys come together and you trauma bond, and even that's very shallow to a certain degree. But a lot of people, from my perception, like I said, this is my perception, and I don't have all of the answers. This is not Bible, this is just my podcast, okay? But don't be upset by me saying any of this. um my perception, a lot of you guys operate in modern terms like NPCs. um it's kind of scary, kind of getting off topic again, but I saw a video of Amanda Seales recently talking about she's realizing how fake politicians are. And I saw a lady who, she kind of reminded me of myself. I saw myself in her because she don't, I'm gonna just keep it 100, 100, 100, whatever you want to call it. But I'm just gonna keep it real. Like, she looked like somebody who ain't from the hood, but she from the hood. So she basically was like, "Oh, I've been in spaces that are hood, and I've also been in spaces where there are people who aren't." And these educated, academically successful people. And yeah, she was like, there's a huge difference between the two. Um, and politicians have an agenda. Like, everything is pretty much, you can kind of see it from a different lens when you come from a struggle, Like, basically, that's what she was telling Amanda. Not saying that Amanda has not struggled, but certain people I've noticed have been protected from seeing the struggle. And that's a blessing from your parents. And a lot of y'all are realizing how dangerous and how scary the world is because you are stepping into the new phase of your adulthood, a new timeline. The boomers are dying. I know that sounds kind of morbid, but whatever. But yeah, like, a lot of you guys were sheltered. And it's so funny because I remember, like, me going throughout life, a lot of people thought that I was like this free spirit or like this naive green person. And a lot of people don't know that I was like traumatized. Not, I ain't trying to be no victim. I'm nobody's victim. But I was disassociating. I saw everything you did. I heard and I put together everything. And it wasn't until 2022 when everything, I'm the type of person that, well, I was the type of person that would let things fester until it like exploded. And that's what happened recently. But I definitely peeped game years ago. And I know a lot of people thought that I say that to say, a lot of people thought that I was naive and stupid and green. But I'm starting to see that actually the people who thought that I was were actually the ones that were. So it's kind of funny. They say, like, what's that saying? The tables turn. The tables. That's perfect for this eclipse. That's a perfect um title for this episode. The tables turning. I do feel like the tables are turning with these two eclipses. I say all of this like I did this 11-minute rant to say that these eclipses for me as an astrologer, there are so many ways you can interpret this eclipse, but in my eyes, this has been about balancing the genders, like people starting to really step into their accountability. Hopefully, I do believe that you know, not everybody will be on this wave, but I do think that the mass majority of the people who are serious about, trying to make our communities better and do right and try to make themselves better and feel better and live better, I do think that these eclipses are going to shift perspectives in people's minds and psyches. So yeah, I know that was a lot, but that's what I take from these eclipses. I think that also eclipses are about fated change. So whatever happens, if you lose something, if you gain something, this was meant to happen. This was meant to come into your path. And if it's difficult, instead of operating from a negative space and reacting from a negative space, try to find the wisdom in that difficulty. Try to find the positive side of things. Channel that anger into something positive. Like, do something that you've been wanting to do. If you wanted to learn music lessons, like that's very Venusian. If you wanted to learn how to cook or do your makeup, sew, whatever, do some Venus type stuff. Look good, feel good, work out, whatever. Pick up a new hobby. That's like a huge theme in the cosmos, in my opinion, too, when I look at the charts. It's like pick up a hobby, do something that you enjoyed doing when you were a child. Go back to doing that. You might not like doing it, but you might find something new. Like you might find that you like doing something different. But I think that we get so caught in this like cookie cutter life. And that's another thing. I probably shouldn't have said shallow. I think a lot of people are checking off boxes mentally, like they aren't really living life authentically. And it's it's coming from a bit of like a shallow place, I guess. Me and one of my friends, we were recently talking about religion, and I had no idea, even though, yeah, I did grow up in the church, but I never interpreted. Did I say that? I said that weird. I never interpreted the Bible in the way most people did. And so when people say that Jesus Christ died for their sins, I never knew that people literally meant that. I thought they always took that as metaphorically. That's how I always took it, at least. Like, he died, to clear my consciousness. You know what I'm saying? Like to know that there's an afterlife, to know that there's something beyond this existence. That's what, clearing me of my sins, like out of this earthly body, but not like literally going out there and being a devil and saying, Jesus, forgive me, and like going about my day and thinking karma isn't going to come my way. And that also made me realize too that like, um, people are afraid to talk about karma because they think that it's going to bring them back karma. Listen, everything that you do is karmic, every single thing. There's a negative and positive reaction for or action for was it reaction for every action. There's a positive and negative reaction for every action. So, like, everything that we do is karmic. And if you think of it that way, then you would probably live life a lot more differently. And I'm not saying you're going to be perfect, nobody's perfect. But I think that people are interpreting religious and like esoteric text wrong. I even look at people talking about hexing and like putting curses on people. And I don't know if those people grew up seeing those types of things and seeing being in that type of environment, but it's nothing to play with. And I tell people all the time, you're not supposed to hex people because you aren't. You aren't supposed to hex people. You aren't supposed to. That's like being mean to somebody. You aren't. Even if somebody's mean to you, you aren't. I'm not saying that you aren't supposed to like you're supposed to lay there and take getting beaten down. No, defend yourself. But like just going out there seeking revenge over something that did not kill you, yeah, you'll live. You'll be okay. You don't have to go light some candles and you don't have to like say some chant. I don't know what y'all be out there doing. You don't have to do all of that stuff you be reading about or seeing people talk about like Shira or whoever, no shade to her. But like we all are living this life. We all have ancestors. We all have people that's praying for us, whether we know that or not. So please believe, even if something were to happen, that's worst case scenario, karma's gonna do its thing in this life or the next. Don't trip. Like relax, enjoy your life, and live your life with a clear consciousness, knowing or conscious, knowing that you are not like the people who inflict pain onto others. Like you're not out here being a devil. In so many words. But yeah, I think when you know better, you do better. I see so many people talk about when somebody go low, I go to hell. Girl, okay, that's not a flex. That's not a flex. That's not cute. But I'm getting off topic. Anyway, I do see a difference in relationships after this eclipse on Monday. Like I said, if things fall apart, if things come together, let the chips fall as they may, because this is karmic and we don't manifest around eclipse time. Also, too, I've been telling people because people have been talking about going to see or look at the solar eclipse in ancient times. they they didn't go outside and look at them. They basically kept all of the windows closed, or wherever they were living, they didn't go out there and just look at the eclipse. And of course, now we feel like we are more aware of things. We feel like we are more powerful. Shout out to American Horror Story. Everybody's a part of some sort of coven and the Supreme Witch. And that was me being sarcastic, by the way. Because it's like, not to say like it's, I mean, in theory, I mean, not in theory, in a joking conversation, like, cool. But like, cause me and my friends, I joke about it all the time. Like, I talk about it. I think it's funny, and I like American Horror Story. I ain't gonna lie, I feel like they could have went harder with the witches, like, and they could have had more black witches. But I digress. But like, taking it serious, I feel like people be on social media taking it dead ass seriously. Like me and my friends joke about it all the time. But like, we not out here talking in different accents and like, I don't want to be petty. I'm not being petty. But I'm sorry, it's not a game. I saw um an elder, like I don't want to disrespect her, but she's older, and she was basically trying to school us on TikTok. Mama Conjure in Memphis, Tennessee. She was like, "Y'all, this ain't no game. Stop playing." And some of y'all haven't even gone through your Saturn return yet. Like, and not to say, I'm not trying to scare nobody, but just like be more aware, be more reflective, get out of your ego a little bit more. Make sure you're not doing anything from a place of like hate. and anger. Make sure you're doing it from a place of like love, liberation, freedom, to just be who you are, not to hurt somebody else. So that's what I want to like put out there. But anywho, we have this eclipse talking to Jupiter, and Jupiter is in Taurus right now. So Jupiter in Taurus is magnifying the Taurus chart of your birth chart. And if you, like, for example, if you are, I'm just going to use my rising sign. If you are an Aries rising, Taurus is in your second house. If you are a Scorpio rising, Taurus is in your seventh house. And so look to see where Taurus is in your birth chart. And this is where you are experiencing, or you may be seeing some new opportunities. You might have been experiencing some sort of like clarity regarding that area of life. So, for example, if this is in your ninth house, this could be like some sort of clarity regarding your beliefs and like long distance traveling. You could potentially be planning to move out of the country. I wouldn't say for like tourists being in the ninth house, but hey, you never know, depending on the aspects. But like just different things could be, take it how it resonates. Research the house that Taurus is in, and that'll tell you a little bit more. But this eclipse is talking to Jupiter. So Jupiter has been in Taurus since May of 2023. And so, whatever you've been doing, like whatever opportunities you've been trying to manifest, this eclipse could potentially be bringing this in, like this, especially if you've been working really, really diligently, because Taurus works diligently. It takes its time. All earth signs are very slow moving. But this eclipse is talking to the benefics, Venus, which is the ruler, and Jupiter, which is the other or the great benefic in astrology. So look to see where Libra is, look to see where Taurus is, look to see where Pisces is. Just look at every house in your chart, girl, or guy, or they, or them. I don't know. Sorry, I don't want to offend anybody, but um, yeah, look and observe everything that's going on. A lot of people were supposed to cut off people years ago and they haven't yet. And this eclipse is making that happen. It's forcing that to happen. So listen to the universe. Don't try to force something that should have been gone years ago. So let's get into Tuesday. We have the moon still in Libra. This time it's talking to Chiron in Aries and Mercury. Chiron is the wounded healer. It is our soft, most vulnerable spot of our chart, wherever it sits, transiting and natally in your birth chart. So this is a wound. This is almost like an Achilles heel, if you will. And don't be afraid. Don't think that just because somebody has your birth chart that they can just figure you out. Not everybody can read astrology. Not everybody is skilled in the way. Astrology is not cut and dry. It's not textbook. You can read textbooks and interpretations from previous astrologers, but also track the transits for yourself. That'll tell you more about how your chart works, how your energy flows. But anyway, um Tuesday, we have it talking to Chiron. So that wound, the moon, emotions. This could be something mentally playing with you. Like Chiron in Aries is all about that wound of like not really feeling seen, not being able to get things started, not being able to assert your authority. This is vulnerability in that Aries area of life. And so like I said, this could be on one, or like I've said in some of my episodes, this could be like on the positive or negative expression, depending on how you are embodying this energy. But the moon talking to Chiron is some sort of mental vulnerability. This could be you having to make a decision about um, some sort of relationship, because Chiron is going to talk to Mercury. And Mercury is the planet of communication, it's the planet of transportation, it's how we intellectualize our emotions. So, and Mercury can also be kind of like confusing and tricky. They call him the trickster in astrology. So, Mercury is talking to your emotions. This could be you communicating something that you realized yesterday. You need to get out of a situation. Take it how it resonates. But Tuesday looks like you are battling with some sort of conversation. Mercury is also in retrograde, so this could be something that comes up again later on in the eclipse season. Getting into Tuesday, the moon moves into Scorpio. So this week seems like a an introspective week. It also seems very healing. There's a lot of opportunity to heal. The moon is at its fall in Scorpio. And what that basically means is you are really feeling your feelings. Like the moon in Scorpio wants to get to the bottom, and sometimes the moon can get really dark in Scorpio, but it's Scorpio is the energy of the underworld. So it wants you to face the shadows of yourself or the situation and, come out of that and bring something powerful out of that. So, because Scorpio is a powerful sign. So the moon is entering Scorpio. It's nothing to be afraid of. It's just that you might be in your feelings. So we have the moon in Scorpio forming a square to Pluto in Aquarius. This might not be negative at all. Um, this could be you rising to the occasion of, transforming something, initiating something, like revealing something, healing something that makes you uncomfortable. This is an opportunity to do that on Wednesday, because we also have the moon in Scorpio talking to its ruler, Mars, in Pisces. And there is a bit of mutual reception there, because Mars is ruled by Scorpio and the moon is comfortable in Pisces. So it can actually do its scorpionic, is that a word? It can do its Scorpio duty, and that is really initiate something that needs to be taken care of, something that needs to be getting rid of, something that you need to get to the bottom of. So it's kind of funny that Pluto and Mars are both making connections to the moon on Wednesday. But if you aren't willing to do something, it's kind of like the universe is saying, hey, you have to do something. God is saying, hey, you have to do something. On Thursday, the moon in Scorpio will form an opposition with Uranus in Taurus. So, this might be some sort of insight on your situation. This could be uncomfortable, but it can also show you how you can transform your situation into something better, something more freeing, something more authentic to you. And then we have the moon still in Scorpio talking to Venus in Pisces, where she is exalted. This could be very sensitive um, energy. This could be an uncomfortable conversation. Oh my God. As I'm looking outside, there's this cloud. Sorry, I'm trying to get my camera. That looks like an eye, but I don't think I can get a picture of it. As we move into the weekend, it just looks really different. That's the best way I can put it. It either looks like we are really letting go of some dead weight and we are changing our lives for the better, like we're getting to the bottom of who we truly are when we talk to, or when the moon talks to Pluto on Friday. And when the moon moves into, I'm sorry, I didn't mention this, but the moon will move into Sagittarius. Right before the moon moves into Sagittarius, it will talk to Neptune in Pisces. And Neptune in Pisces is comfortable there. So Pisces is really seeing through the veil. it can be a bit delusional, but Neptune in Pisces is seeing through that delusion. And with the moon being at its in its fall in Scorpio, you really can see the truth about a situation on Friday, right before the moon enters Sagittarius. So this is where I'm going, where it's like, okay, yeah, I really need to do something. I really need to change. I really need to get to the bottom of a situation. I really need to just, figure out what it is that I want to do in the long term, because the moon will form a square on Saturday with Mars, which is the planet of action in Pisces. And Mars in Pisces is moving from feeling, moving from intuition. Like that's where you are getting that drive to initiate things. It's from that feeling of emotion, empathy, and that's how you are expressing yourself. So this is a good time to be creative, to tap into that creativity and challenge yourself. If you aren't tapping into it, to do it on Saturday. The moon will form a trine with the sun in Pisces as well. So you may get some clarity about the situation as well, like how you can pivot, adapt and overcome if it is a challenging situation. Like, I don't know how y'all take these horoscopes, but I take it as find the positive in everything, because you're gonna always have a challenge. Find the find the positive, find the wisdom in it. Try to figure it out. Try to evolve yourself out of that situation. Don't allow people or anything, even if it's not involving people, if it's your own inner critic, if it's your own judgment, don't allow that to make you stoop to their level if it is something that you don't normally embody. Don't allow it. The moon in Sagittarius, it's easy to allow it too. I'm talking in these positive expressions of it, like saying, you can tap into your creativity. But the moon in Sagittarius, where Mars could also be a fight because you feel triggered. So just make sure you are really reflecting on what you are doing and why you are doing what you are doing. Does that make sense? It's gonna make sense today. So the moon will also talk to Saturn in Pisces. So this is another challenging aspect, but this is really telling you to discipline yourself in really being being authentic in yourself. Stop embodying that inauthentic expression of whatever it is you might be embodying. And it might not even be like, you doing something. It could be the people around you with this inauthentic expression of themselves. And it's like you want to move and elevate into a space that's you, that you can be yourself, and you have people around you that are supportive. You can manifest this. The moon on Saturday will also talk to and still in Sagittarius, it will talk to the North Node. So this is aligning our emotions with our destiny and like what we feel called to do. This week is an eclipse week, so I don't really know what to expect, not even for myself. But I do know the themes, I do know the topics, I do know what's going on in my life right now. So my advice all the time, honestly, would be to embody the higher expression of whatever it is you feel you want to embody. Whatever life, whatever timeline you want to manifest, whatever life you want to manifest, make sure you are embodying that expression of yourself, because that's how you're going to get what you want, what you desire, what you deserve, what you feel you are called to do. So, with all of that being said, I want to ask, what was last week about for you? For me, last week was a bit crazy, it was a bit chaotic in my mind, because I could not for the life of me understand why I felt so what's the word? Not, I guess I wasn't content. And it was because I was fighting peace, I guess. I know that sounds like some Shanice, play the violins, cue the violins. That's a great problem to have. I know that's a great problem to have. But when you are stepping out of survival mode and you've had to disassociate pretty much your whole life, and like I said, I'm no victim. Don't feel sorry for me. Okay? It's really hard to trust yourself. And I don't think people realize that. I think people think that people people don't understand what they haven't been through. Let me just say that. People don't really empathize. That is a gift, and I say that all the time. Comprehension skills, pattern recognition, and empathy are gifts that the mass majority of the population are not operating in. Um and it's really sad. It's really disappointing because I have always been authentic. I don't know how to be. I always tell people I don't know how to mask. I don't. Sometimes I say things that I'm like, oh my God, why did I say that? I made a video recently on TikTok and I was like, y'all don't like each other. And I was like, y'all niggas don't like each other. I don't know if I can say that on YouTube, but it's my channel. And I was just like, y'all niggas don't like each other. That's why slavery, or that's why white people are still enjoying themselves, or y'all think that, because I don't think white people are enjoying themselves. Okay. Like, I'm going to just be fucking real. I don't think they're enjoying themselves. I don't think nobody's really enjoying themselves. And that's my whole point. You will be, you will miss all of the signs if you are trying to plan somebody else's revenge. You will miss your blessings, your opportunities for good karma, trying to plot and plan somebody else's revenge, trying to look for the bad in every situation. I think about the Quiet on the Set documentary that I told myself I wasn't going to watch, and I got sucked into watching on TikTok Live with a TikToker I follow, and I can't remember her name, her handler, the at, can't remember it, but I got sucked into watching it. I didn't watch the whole thing, but I watched enough. And it was the scene where Drake was talking about, the abuse. And he didn't go into detail, which I, as a viewer, appreciate. But somebody in the comments when we were watching it on TikTok Live, he was like, why he didn't go into detail? He should have went into detail. And I'm just like, why do you need to know the details? Like, y'all watch Criminal Minds the first 48 hours and think that you are a detective, and you go onto these jobs like fucking McDonald's, or you go into these hospitals, or you go into these workspaces, you go into these grocery stores, you go into these places hyper vigilant because you think you are psychic or you think you are a detective, which is pretty much the same thing, in my opinion. And you're not. You are just in fight or flight or fawn, and you've made yourself hysterical, soaking in and programming your brain to look for the bad in everything. You have to know when to turn it off. That is a form of escape. If you like those types of shows, cool, like them and take the cues from them, but do not apply that into every single part of your life and try to like figure out the minds of criminals. Because, in my opinion, once you figure out the mind of a criminal, you become one. Okay? So chill out. That's something that I want to tell people too. I want to put out into the ethers. I don't think people understand how important it is to filter what it is you watch, to filter what you allow yourself to be exposed to, and to filter what you allow your loved ones to experience, to see. Not even just from like the world, but from you. You have to know how to have a relationship with yourself. And I think that this is one of the huge themes that this eclipse is basically trying to get us to see as well. This eclipse season with Mercury in retrograde in Aries. It's a lot of selfish energy in the cosmos. Aries can be a bit of a selfish sign because the sun is at its exaltation there. So the sun can do its heroic expression, it can be its strongest self in Aries. So sometimes it can get a bit carried away and not see others. It can only shine a light so bright on the problems that it can't really see its own. So with all of that being said, I hope that you guys have an amazing week. I hope that it's not too challenging. I hope that it's smooth, it's flowing, it's beautiful. And until next week, peace.